preserving our heritage through music, language, and culture. Exceptionally educational and entertaining. We are Notes of Slovakia online radio show.
Vítajte v relácii Hlasy Slovenska.
With your host Mike Vojtila of the USA and
Slavomír Vojtila zo Slovenska.
We present for you Slovak music, polka, folk, pop from the past, present, and everything in between. We have 3 great features in every show.
Learning Slovak language, Slovak Spotlight, Past and Present Day Slovakia.
3 skvelé výhody, ktoré získate počúvaním tejto relácie. Naučite sa slovenský jazyk, vyzdvihnete svoju slovenskú osobnosť a dozviete sa o histórii a súčasnosti Slovenska.
You can tune us in right here at notesofslovakia.com, on our YouTube channel, and on 247polkaheaven.com. If you like our show, like us on Facebook, facebook.com/notesofslovakia. Stay tuned to an action-packed Notes of Slovakia show. Welcome to the show today. This is Mike Vojtila. Thank you for tuning us in. Dakujem. We present for you the best in Slovak music. We always say we play the past, the present, and everything in between. Let's start with an old folklore number right now. From the eastern region of Slovakia, here is
Keď zjažala trávu, folklórny súbor Lipa.
Time for a polka right now from the composer, the same composer that wrote the very famous Bear Barrel Polka or Skoda Lasky. Jaromir Vejvoda composed If There Wasn't Music Polka, dating back to 1980 from the album From Prague, Czechoslovakia. The orchestra, Václav Salinka. Enjoy.
se sejdem při muzice u nás pospolu. Přijde starosta, bouchne do stolu, muzikantům dá znamení, hudba začne hrát a všechno jde tancovat. Jen já si nejvíce hledím svojí sklenice. O půlnoci náladu mám, tak jdu dokola, zaspívat si z vesela. Kdyby ty muziky nebyly, tak už jsem dneska měl 3 vily. U každé růžovou zahradu chodil bych s rukama dozadu, ale že pěkně vyhrávali, děvčata na mě jen mávali. Nic jsem si nenechal pro sebe, já si to nechci vzít do nebe. Že pěkně vyhrávali, děvčata na mě jen mávali. Nic jsem si nenechal pro sebe, já si to nechci vzít do nebe.
Popular right now in Slovakia, Miro Jaros is a electropop or pop music player and is especially popular with the younger generation. From the southwestern region of Slovakia, Bratislava, here is
Miro Jaroš, čím chceš byť?
Pripravený? Zahráme si našu hru o povolaniach. Poďte.
Hádajte, čím budem, keď chcem záchranárom byť. Striekať vodu z hadice a oheň uhasiť. Mať auto červené, jazdiť ním. Skontrolovať, čo sa deje vždy, keď zbadám dym.
Máme to, už to vieme. Čím chceš byť, uhádneme. Máme to, už to viem. Ty chceš byť požiarníkom.
Áno, chcem. Hádajte, čím budem, keď chcem na špičkách stáť. Preblietavú sukničku si k tomu obliekať. S úsmevom tancovať, nič nepokaziť. Keď publikum zatlieska, sa milo ukloniť.
Máme to, už to vieme. Čím chceš byť, uhádneme. Máme to, už to viem. Ty chceš byť baletkou.
Áno, chcem. Úžasná si bola. Hádajte, čím budem, keď sem chytať zlodejov. Udržiavať poriadok v uniforme snou. Šúkačkou v aute byť na mieste. Pomáhať a chrániť vás, už som na ceste.
Máme to, už to vieme. Čím chceš byť, uhádneme. Máme to, už to viem. Ty chceš byť policajtom.
Áno, chcem. Hádajte, čím budem, keď chcem letieť na mesiac. Stretnúť sa tam s ufónmi a zistiť o nich viac. Z rakety z vesmíru pozorovať zem. Všetko zapisovať, nech vám o tom rozpoviem. Máme to, už to vieme. Čím chceš byť, uhádneme.
Máme to, už to viem. Ty chceš byť kozmonautom.
Áno, chcem.
Od malička chcel som sám spievať, iba spievať vám. Čímkoľvek byť aj ty smieš, ak to ozaj veľmi chceš. Srdiečko ti napovie, v ňom povolanie tvoje znie, ak o tom snívaš noc aj deň.
A môžem byť aj prezident?
Presne tak.
Keď zaplačú zvieratka, vždy budem práve tam. Zistím, čo je príčinou, veď lekárničku mám. Zvieratkám vždy rada pomôžem. Čo bolí, to vyliečím, aj labku obviažem.
Máme to, už to vieme. Čím chceš byť, uhádneme. Máme to, už to vieme. Chceš byť zverou lekárkou?
Áno, chcem.
Máme to, už to vieme. Čím chceš byť, uhádneme. Máme to, už to vieme. Môžeš byť čímkoľvek.
Time in our program right now for our first of 3 features.
Learning Slovak language.
Hello, nazdar, ahoj. I'm Slavomir Vojtila and I will accompany you through the Slovak language course. I really hope you enjoy our show, Noc of Slovakia, full of music and positive mood. Welcome to our language window, where I will introduce you a few Slovak words and phrases. These Slovak phrases you will need if you get lost, or you will need to find the right way or asking for direction. I'm looking for the address. Hľadám túto adresu. Hľadám túto adresu. I'm looking for my father. Hľadám môjho otca. Hľadám môjho otca. Excuse me, do you have a map? Prepáčte, máte mapu? Prepáčte, máte mapu? Turn right, odbočte doprava. Odbočte doprava. Turn left, odbočte doľava. Odbočte doľava. Right, doprava, left, doľava. So, be in touch with our show, Noc of Slovakia, and don't hesitate to write us a message when you will have any question, comments or ideas, what you would to know or hear in our next show. Me and Mike will be very appreciated to reply you. If you missed some show, you can find us on our YouTube channel or give us a like on our Facebook page, Noc of Slovakia. Have a nice day. S prianím pekného dňa sa s vami lúči Slavomír Vojtila.
From Central Slovakia, Katarina Razanova in an old Slovak folk number called Hey on the Bridge Girls.
Ej na most, jołki na most murowany. Ej na most, jołki na most murowany. Každej prejar doma, ej každej prejar doma, len môj odobraný. Každej prejar doma, ej každej prejar doma, len môj odobraný. Ej keď ste zjalilého, vete aj druhého. Ej keď ste zjalilého, vete aj druhého. Na se neraduje, ej na se neraduje, prejareška jeho. Na se neraduje, ej na se neraduje, prejareška jeho.
The old Czechoslovakia was created from pieces of the former Austro-Hungarian Empire at the close of World War I, specifically the provinces of Bohemia and Moravia, containing the Czechs, and the northwestern part of Hungary, containing the Slovaks. These people make up the most westerly branch of the great Slavic family, all of whom have a deeply rooted tradition, culture, and heritage that is extremely old and magnificently musical. Reading from the album of Edward and Joseph Tomes and their band from the album Czechoslovakian Melodies from 1968. Here is Love to Dance Polka.
Slovak Spotlight.
Dobrý deň. Greetings, I am Dr. Michael Kopanik, or Kopanich in Slovak, and I will be speaking on this short segment of Slovak Spotlight. I am a history professor and teach at the University of Maryland University College. Today I'll be presenting a talk about Dr. Milan Rastislav Štefanik. May 4th, 2019 marks the 100th anniversary of the tragic death of one of the founding fathers of the First Czechoslovak Republic, General Milan Štefanik. He perished in a terrible plane crash in 1919 that claimed his life and that of his two Italian crewmates. To this day, Štefanik is considered one of the most important individuals in the history of the Slovak nation, even though he died at the relatively young age of 38. In a recent contest in Slovakia over who is the Najväčší Slovak, the greatest Slovak, Štefanik's name looms large. When most of us think of legendary national leaders, we think of tall, strong, and even handsome men with an affluent background frequently. Štefanik was just the opposite. He was short, 5 foot 4 inches, had a pockmarked face, and was bald. The statues erected to him in the photos that one sees do not reflect his real appearance so much. An April 2019 conference at the University Library in Bratislava was entitled Velký malý muž, the big little man. It reflected this reality. Nonetheless, despite his appearance, Stefanik did possess a brilliant mind, an engaging personality, and a skill for making friends among influential people. Ironically, despite his looks, he was also somewhat of a ladies' man, and he would acquire a reputation among prominent young French ladies. It was hardly an accident that he would later become to a young and beautiful Italian countess. This aside, let's look at his background and achievements. Stefanik lived a full and active life, and lived abroad for half of it. A truly Renaissance man, he pursued a variety of interests, first as a student, then as an astronomer, an international traveler, and a photographer. And during the Great War, what we call World War I, he served as a pilot, a soldier, a diplomat, and a politician. He led the formation and training of the Czechoslovak Legion, which fought for independence from Austria-Hungary. As the vice president of the Czechoslovak National Council, he used his contacts in high diplomatic circles to influence Allied governments to support Czechoslovak independence. Simply put, without Stefanik, there never might have been a Czechoslovakia. At the end of his life, he was appointed Minister of War in the new Czechoslovak government, but he never was able to really serve that position in full. But to the end, he worked tirelessly at science and for the causes he believed in. He lived by his personal motto, Verit, milovat, pracovat, to believe, to love, to work. His early life. Born on July 21st, 1880, Milan Rastislav, and notice the Slavic name from the early Slavic leader of Great Moravia, Rastislav. Milan was the son of a Lutheran preacher, Pavel Stefanik, and his wife Albertina. He was the sixth child in a large family of 12 siblings. His birthplace, the village of Košariska in the Malakarpati, the Little Carpathian Mountains of western Slovakia, counted about 400 people at the time. Today it houses a museum in his honor, and a humongous memorial sits at the top of Bradlo Mountain, where his tomb is, and the whole complex towers over the valley below. Today it's a park and really a hallowed ground for Slovaks. Stefanik was a born learner with great curiosity to explore the world and understand it. He was a star student, and he attended schools in Hungary, but there he was compelled to study in the Magyar language, which we call Hungarian. For this reason, in 1898, he continued his studies in construction engineering at the Czech Technical University in Prague. There he didn't have to speak Hungarian. He then transferred to Charles University, where he majored in mathematics and also attended lectures on astronomy, physics, optics, and philosophy. He also spent the summer studying at the university in Zurich. During his university studies, he attended philosophy lectures presented by Tomáš Garrigue Masaryk, the future first president of Czechoslovakia. Masaryk inspired Stefanik to consider the future cooperation of Czechs and Slovaks, and that would later influence his activism. While in Prague, Stefanik became an active member of Slovak student associations such as Dětvan, which promoted and sponsored events about Slovak culture, poetry, and folk songs. Eventually, he would become its president, and he published articles on Slovak culture and politics in various journals. Since he lacked monetary resources, and aware of his outstanding potential, Czech associations supported him financially. While in Prague, Stefanik wrote articles to inform Czechs of the dire situation Slovaks faced under the pressure of Magyarization, pressure to abandon their native language and culture and adopt Magyar, the dominant Hungarian nationality. Stefanik graduated in 1904 with a degree in philosophy, a PhD. Upon the suggestion of a professor, Stefanik traveled to France to pursue his career in astronomy. He arrived in Paris with just a suitcase and a desire to pursue his dreams. He did not know French at first and had little money. The professor he wished to work with, Pierre Janssen, was one of the co-founders of astrophysics and the director of the renowned Meudon Observatory on Mont Blanc. French authorities appointed him to make astronomical and meteorological observations and sent him on diplomatic missions across the globe, but he also had to fund many of these projects out of his own meager budget. His missions sent him to Algeria, the Sahara Desert, Morocco, Turkestan, Russia, India, the United States, Panama, Brazil, Ecuador, Australia, New Zealand. Stefanik received acclaim for his works. In addition, he experimented in building a machine to make color photos and films, a design he patented in 1911. His accolades included membership in the French Foreign Legion of Honor and an acquaintance with many leading personalities. He became a French citizen in 1912, mainly so he would obtain funding which was denied to non-citizens. Nonetheless, he admired the democratic institution of his adopted country. Despite his growing reputation, Stefanik maintained a very close relationship to his Slovak homeland, and he often made trips to Košarisko between his travels. His final trip home was for his father's funeral in 1913. But his heart always yearned for his homeland, and he said he always wanted to be buried there. He almost had a sense that he was going to die young. The outbreak of the Great War in 1914 interrupted one of Stefanik's missions in Morocco. Feeling a duty to serve, he joined the French army, starting at the rank of private. He rose to distinction as an agile and skillful pilot, flying many missions in northern France. He acquired a reputation among pilots and air command because of his successful weather forecasts. He established the military meteorological services in the French Air Force and wrote up some of its first regulations. Renewed outbreaks on the Serbian front would change his plans, and he would wind up flying 30 missions for the Serbs. He impressed his officers and was promoted from major to lieutenant, colonel, and later in the war to the rank of general in the French army. While in Serbia, the Allied campaign bogged down, and compelled to retreat, Stefanik had to burn his airplane and join the Serbs in a march towards the Adriatic Sea. The 75-mile march through harsh terrain of mountains and forest wound up wounding Stefanik because there were guerrilla groups which attacked them, and he was almost dying. To this day, some brave souls hike the rugged so-called Stefanik Trail to witness what the injured soldier had to endure and pay him tribute. Stefanik found out about the activities of Czech nationalists. Incapacitated from flying, the French army relieved him of active duties. He was slight in nature and never fully recovered from his fall in Serbia, but he still pursued a fast-paced life. He turned his attention to diplomatic activities. Masaryk had been lobbying for influence and traveling often between London and Paris, and Beneš, the future Czechoslovak foreign minister, was promoting the cause of Czechs and Slovaks to the Allies. Having connections in high French circles, Stefanik introduced them to the French Prime Minister Aristide Briand and other leading personages. Later, this led to the official recognition of the Czechoslovak National Council and eventually an autonomous Czechoslovak army unit within the French army. One may argue that without Stefanik there would have been no Czechoslovak independence. Stefanik also made trips to Ukraine, to Kiev, where he negotiated to get POWs to fight for the war, and the army in Russia eventually swelled to over 50,000. He also came to the United States and tried to secure Czech and Slovak non-naturalized immigrants, but he only got about 500. He visited New York and Chicago. After the creation of Czechoslovakia, Stefanik was appointed Minister of War, even though he was disappointed and hoped to be in charge of Slovak affairs. Before returning home to Slovakia, he visited Paris, Rome, and his fiancée, Giuliana Benzoni. But he finally decided to go home before his wedding, which was scheduled for June 6th, And he did not want to go through Austria because he detested it, so he decided to fly home. He borrowed a Caproni airplane with a single engine and set off with 2 Italian officers. Just as he was approaching Bratislava's airport, his plane crashed, killing both Stefanik and the Italian soldiers. So he died at the height of his active career. But everyone who knew Stefanik considered him a gentleman and a patriot. Prior to his return to Slovakia, his global reputation had preceded him, and the population awaited his arrival with great expectations. He had a grand funeral. The only one I know I could compare it to is that of John F. Kennedy in the United States. The new nation of Czechoslovakia was in mourning. It had been dealt a terrible blow, and for Slovakia, no one possessed the talent, skill, energy, and dedication which Stefanik had displayed. He was truly one of the greatest Slovaks. Until next time, do počutia, which is a way of saying goodbye on the radio, and the traditional words upon departing, s Bohom.
Moving on musically right now, here is a song that is popular right now in Slovakia. Released on March 4th, 2019 in Bratislava, singer Christina teams up with David Gransky in a song called Still Have You. Christina Pelikova is one of the most popular Slovak singers. She has twice won the TV Personality Award in the singer category as a result of fan vote. Successes are collected not only in Slovakia but also in the Czech Republic. She has shown that she is not only an exceptionally talented singer, but also knows how to play and is also a model. Let's hear
Kristina a David Gransky, Stále ťa mať.
S tebou je rado žiť, cúvať a útočiť, blúzka na ramienku.
Vždy hledám záminku, jak jen tě mít, pro sebe mít.
S tebou je radosť byť a nikdy neskončiť, pod vanku už hlavu skryť.
Ráno se nebudit a vždy tě mít, pro sebe mít.
Láska chce všetko a nikto nenahradí, že sa našli dvaja, čo sa majú radi.
Svítanie nad mestom a cinkot raných káv.
Láska chce všechno a nikdo nenahradí, ty nejhezčí rána, kdy nám to tak ladí. Kdybych byl bez tebe, štěstí bych nepotkal. S tebou je radosť hrať, koniec hry nepoznať.
Těšit se na tvůj smích, číst si vzkaz ve dveřích.
A vždy ťa mať, pre seba mať.
Odpoštáš hlavu skrýt,
ráno sa nebudíť a vždy ťa mať, pre seba mať,
pro sebe mít.
Láska chce všetko a nikto nenahradí, že sa našli dvaja, čo sa majú radi. Svítanie nad mestom a cinkot raných káv. Láska chce všechno a nikto nenahradí, ty nejhezčí rána, to tak ladí, kdybych byl bez tebe, štěstí bych nepotkal. Láska chce všetko a nikto nenahradí, že sa našli dvaja, čo sa majú radi. Svítanie nad mestom a cinkot raných káv. Láska chce všechno a nikdo nenahradí, ty nejhezčí rána, kdy nám to tak ladí. Kdybych byl bez tebe, štěstí bych nepotkal. Stále ťa mať, pre seba mať. To, čo sa môže stať, nám stať, stále ťa mít, pro sebe mít. To, co se môže
Let's turn to some Slovak folk music right now. Here is
Košíček od ľudovej hudby z Korušina.
Hej, muzicko, Kasicek! Hej, muzicko, para za parou! Hulaj!
Friends, are you looking for your ancestors in Europe? Well, when you are, we highly recommend Juraj Cesarsik. Juraj Cesarsik is an archive researcher and tourist guide. He specializes in records and ancestral searches. He speaks Slovak, English, Polish, Czech, Russian, and has excellent working knowledge of Hungarian place names and old Slavonic folk costumes. His easygoing, patient style allows him to work well with local officials and priests where diplomacy is a key skill. He has arranged many reunions of Slovak families with their missing family members from the USA, Canada, England, Italy, and France. His services are genealogical searching at the State Archives of Slovakia and providing tour guide as hired by Days in Slovakia. For more information on archived researcher and tourist guide Juraj Cesarsik, log on to notesofslovakia.com. Under advertisers, there's a direct link and a bio of Uri's information. Or simply email Uri at jurajcisarik@hotmail.com. Once again, his email address is jurajcisarik@hotmail.com. And be sure to tell Uri you heard his ad right here at Notes of Slovakia. You know, even if you don't use his services, even if you would just send him an email, let him know that you appreciate his sponsorship of our Notes of Slovakia program. It is now time for our third feature, and I want you to listen up, folks, especially those people that are thinking about looking up their ancestors. Of course, you can use Uri Sarstik, and we highly do recommend that. We used them a few times, but this following information that Slavo is going to bring you about the Slovak language, I wish I would have known this before. When I first started looking up my father's information. My father was born in Vandrišel, Slovakia, and turns out it was the name has changed through the years, and it's now called Nalipkovo. It's in the eastern region of Slovakia, in the Spišská Nová Ves region. And but I didn't know about the surnames, about the male and the feminine, different spellings of the last name. Our name is spelled Wojtyla, Wojtila. We found my father's birth certificate, and turns out the name is actually spelled Vojtilla. Not sure where the name changed, but we had a hard time looking on Ellis Island for Wojtyla or Wojtyla, and we couldn't find it with either spelling. And after you hear Slavo's talk now, it will sure help you when you go to look for your ancestors. So listen up, and you'll understand what I'm trying to tell all of you when it comes to looking up your ancestors and, of course, learning the Slovak language.
Past and present day Slovakia.
Hello, Nazdar, ahoj. I am Slavomir Vojtila, and I will accompany you through the Slovak language course. I really hope you enjoy our show, Notes of Slovakia, full of music and positive mood. In this language window, you will learn about feminine forms of surnames in Slovak language. For English-speaking people, it's very confusing why has the Slovak or Czech wife, sister or mother different surname as a man. We are talking about indication of female gender in names and professions, or in Slovak language we call it prechyľovanie. One more time, prechyľovanie. Well, don't try to repeat it if you are not Slavic speaker. This is very typical for a Slavic language, and believe me, it is a very explosive topic in feminist association. But believe me, it is no oppression of women's rights. Slovak language belongs to Indo-European languages group, and it is typical inflectional language. This means the relations between words in sentences are created by word forms. We are talking about declension or declension. Old English was inflectional language too. Modern English has moved toward an analytic language. This means the relations between words in sentences are created by helper words as particles, prepositions, etc. And this is the reason why it's very hard to learn Slovak language for English-speaking persons. But back to the feminine forms. Few examples. My surname is Vojtila, and my wife is Vojtilova, or others, Mr. Kováč and his wife, Mrs. Kováčová. You can hear the suffix ová. But there are more options how to change surname in feminine form. For example, Mr. Plachý and his wife, Mrs. Plachá. See? Mr. Plachý and Mrs. Plachá. Or Jesenský, Jesenská. In first moment you can identify the name and the gender of person. When we are talking about surnames, in Slovak language is the basic surname the masculine form. For example, Novak. From this basic form is created feminine form, Nováková, Nováková, and family name of all family members with one surname, Novákovci. See? In English you just tell, for example, the Simpsons. And here we have Simpsonovci. One more time, Simpsonovci. Another example, my surname is Vojtila, my wife is Vojtilova, and me, my wife, and my two sons together, we are Vojtilovci. Vojtilovci. This feminine form of surnames in Slovak language is very old. We are talking about 13th or 14th century. We can find the old legal notes from the year 1454. Tehda pani Blašková rekla. In the year 1464. Mareta Hančová na svoj diel 3 zlaté vzala. Or in the year 1473. Žofka Lacková. Or Uršula Hostková and Martin Hostek, etc. But the official language in Hungary Kingdom in medieval times was Latin, and in Latin is no feminine form for surname, so the surnames was written in Slavic form. But there is little problem with foreign surnames. When you want to change it to feminine form and use the suffix ová, it sounds weird. This is why the foreign surnames is using in natural form. For example, Whitney Houston. If you try to tell Whitney Houston Nová, it breaks your ears. But if you want to using names in the sentence, you must to add the suffix ová because of declension. For example, I am going to visit Mrs. Houston. In Slovak language, idem navštíviť pani Houstonovú. Houstonovú. I lost the game with Mrs. Houston. Prehral som s pani Houstonovou. Houstonovou. Now you can hear why and how important is to add a suffix ová behind the feminine surname. You cannot decline the name and use it in sentence. But we are using the feminine form also in the names of profession. The typical suffix is ička and ka. For example, doctor. Masculine form is doktor and feminine form is doktorka. One more time. Doktorka. Doktorka. President. Prezidentka. Prezidentka. Or lawyer. Právnik and právnička. You see, ička. Právnik and právnička. Worker. Robotník. And feminine form is robotníčka. Robotník and robotníčka. Driver. Chauffeur and chauffeurka. Chauffeur and chauffeurka. Or neighbor, sused and susedka. Sused, susedka. It is very important to define feminine and masculine form for declination. And few examples in sentences. I am going to the doctor. When is the doctor a man? Idem k doktorovi. Ovi. Idem k doktorovi. When is the doctor a woman? Idem k doktorke. See? Ke. Idem k doktorke. And how we know if is the doctor he or she? Because of name. You see, Dr. Novak is a man and Dr. K. Nováková is a woman. And believe me, few years of learning Slovak and you will be a good speaker. So be in touch with our show Noc of Slovakia and don't hesitate to write us a message when you will have any questions, comments or ideas what you want to know or hear in our next show. Me and Mike will be very appreciated to reply you. If you missed some show, you can find us on our YouTube channel or give us a like on our Facebook page Noc of Slovakia. Have a nice day. S prianím pekného dňa sa s vami lúči Slavomír Vojtila.
And as I was telling you before Slavo's feature on surnames, I had trouble finding Wojtyla or Wojtyla in Ellis Island when I was looking for my father when he came over with his mother and my aunt, and it was because of the spelling of the name. My grandmother spelled her last name Vojtillova. Once I found out about that, well, it came right up, of course, and I was able to see the ship and, the dates, and it was very interesting and really helped out when it came to looking for my ancestors, especially on Ellis Island. Okay, how about back to some music right now? We haven't played a polka in a while. Here's one right now. And in the background, we're listening to the music of the Bukach brothers, Jerry and Rudy Bukach. They were very popular in Maple Heights, Ohio, a suburb of Cleveland, throughout the 1940s, 50s, and 1960s. Well, this is Mike Wojtyla, and this is going to do it for today's edition of Notes of Slovakia. We thank you so much, Dakujem, for listening to our program. Don't forget to catch rebroadcasts of this right here on 24/7 polkaheaven.com, and you can also see and hear our show because our shows are archived on our website, notesofslovakia.com, and there we have a video presentation of all of our shows, so you can see slides and pictures that go along with the music, as well as all of our talks, our features right here on Notes of Slovakia. On behalf of Slavomir Wojtyla of Bratislava, Slovakia, Dr. Michael Kopanik, our Slovak historian, and yours truly, Mike Wojtyla of Cleveland, Ohio, USA. Dakujem, thanks for listening. May God bless. Let's close out with
Borovička od nebeskej muziky.
V žalúdku sladká borovička, sladká slivovička. Čin, 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 to pívečko. Čin, 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 aj vínečko. Včera bolo v súdku, dneska je v žalúdku.